How's it going today, guys? It's episode 13 here. Me and the gang's up here chilling in Novak. Our plans for today is to try to make it to Boulder City. Ooh, abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker. Got to check that out. Colorado Drive, Boulder City. Just fast travel to El Dorado Lake. Who's this? The Lonesome
Howdy
Drift.
there, partner.
What's your story,
My
stranger?
story's a long one, friend, and I can't say as it's all that interesting.
Nevertheless, I'm interested.
Well, I was born in a little town out Montana way. Me and Ma didn't have much, ever since my pa up and left.
Your father
That he
abandoned
did.
you?
Never did know why. Ma always said he was a real mysterious fella, even when he was with her. Like he was a stranger sometimes.
Sounds like you miss him. Is that why you're out here
Maybe.
wondering?
Maybe I just never felt like I belonged back home.
You were better off without him. You became your own man.
I suppose there's
outside of
that.
the shadow.
But a man ought to know his own paw. And a woman oughtn't to have to work herself to an early grave to provide for her family. After Ma died, I guess I wanted to find my paw and get some answers from him. Been out here looking ever since, but he ain't an easy man to find.
And what will
Can't
you
say
do
as I
when you
really
find
know.
him?
Maybe I'll just ask him why. Maybe I'll punch him right in the mouth. Hell, the more I talk about it, the more the whole damn thing sounds like a dumb idea.
Sounds like you should move on, settle down.
Maybe I should. Don't suppose you know any place a fella with a guitar might find a job, huh?
Can't say
well,
I
it was
do,
worth a
sir.
shot.
That's a mighty fine guitar you
this
got
old
there.
thing? Why, thanks, friend. This here guitar is just about the only thing my daddy left me. Just
Have
about
you been
my whole
playing
life.
along?
Ever since my daddy left Ma and me and went off to roam the wastes. So long, friend.
This is a nice guitar he's got, but I'm not gonna take his guitar. Just out here traveling the wasteland. Tracy was heading that way. Guess we could kill him right fast. Oh, Baxby. Boulder City. We have here train station in Boulder City.
Oh.
Good job, Boone. Always like to drink one to reward myself when I find some more. What's my science at? Okay, so wouldn't be able to unlock that as a 50. On this spot in the year 2277, Rangers and soldiers of the new California Republic turned back the forces of Caesar's Legion during the Battle of Hoover Dam. Over 100 men and women gave their lives on Nevada soil to defend local civilians and the principles of the Republic. May this humble stone be an enduring memorial to their valor and sacrifice.
You here to pay your respects too? It commemorates the Battle of Hoover Dam. The Rangers lured the best of Caesar's Legion into Boulder City and blew the whole town up. The NCR still lost a bunch of troops in the fighting, though. My older brother sacrificed himself so they could evacuate some of the wounded. Don't
Sorry
worry
to hear
about
that.
it. Can't
Where are
be
you
Karen,
normally
but I'm
stationed?
on leave at the moment, heading back to California to see my folks. I'm supposed to join up with a caravan that's heading that way up at the 188, but they're not due to arrive for a while yet. Bye.
See what's going on at the saloon. And them blue star caps. Must be highly valuable. He's got him a bat equipped. He's ready.
Howdy, Trooper. I thought the Bighorn was off limits to you guys, but who am I to complain? Customer's a customer.
Why is the Bighorn
The
off limits
workers here
to the
don't much
troopers?
like the military. After too many fights and broken noses, the NCR doesn't allow troops to spend time here. That doesn't stop a few people like yourself, of course. Don't worry, I won't say a word. What can I get
Show me
you?
what you got for sale.
Most of the
Tell
town
me
is
about
rubble,
Boulder City.
destroyed during the Battle of Hoover Dam. And the only other thing around here is the concrete mixing yard.
What's the
NCR
concrete
has been
used for?
constructing bunkers up and down the river. From what I've heard, it's a little late for that. Travelers over at the 188, just up the road, said that the Legion has overrun a couple of towns to the south.
Yup. They burned Nipton.
Most of
Where
the
does the
limestone comes from Quarry
concrete come
Junction out
from?
west, but I hear some death claws overran the quarry. With no work to be had, all the workers around here have wandered off. I'm the only one left in town.
Quarry Junction is overran by death claws.
Come back real soon.
I have to remember that. Okay. Yeah, I can't play the music in the game. It'll copyright me on YouTube. That's okay. That must be the concrete mixing plant over there. Service rifle, ranger hat, ranger hollow disc. We're cut off from the rest of the platoon and there are legionaries all over the place. There's no chance we can get out of here before they blow the town. So we're going to hold out against them as long as we can. If anyone ever gets this, I'd like to make sure that Private Jeffrey Hugh and Corporal Marcus Christian are commended for their valor and sacrifice. Both have upheld the ideal and honor of the new California Republic with distinction. Ranger Boots out. Okay, I guess it won't let me pick it up. So they got overran. Looks like we got killed.
We've got a situation with some great cons right now. The brass at McCarran has ordered me to lock down the ruins until it's been resolved.
What's going on?
One of my patrols was on its way back from Novak when it came under fire from the great cons. They radioed for reinforcements, but instead of waiting for us, they chased the cons into the ruins where they were caught in a crossfire. No deaths, but not all the squad got out. The cons have Private Ackerman and Private Gilbert as hostages.
What are you going to do about
Acceptable
the
casualties,
hostages?
I've been told. I don't like it, but the brass has their reasons.
May be able to negotiate a deal with
Normally
the
I
Great
turn
Khans.
you down since I have no idea who you are. But considering that the hostages are as good as dead when we attack. Alright. I'm going to give you a chance to talk to the Great Khans. Their leader is a man named Jessup. If we hear shooting, we'll be coming in. But it'll probably be too late for you.
I understand.
Good luck.
Alright.
Hope the NCR doesn't send reinforcements from the dam.
Fuck Benny. We'll make him pay for stabbing us in the back.
Leave him tied up for now.
What the hell? You're that courier Benny wasted back in Good Springs. You're supposed to be dead.
Well, I'm not, and I believe you have something in mind.
Yeah, about that.
Where's the platinum
Don't have
chip?
it. Benny stole it right before he stabbed us in the back. He's probably back at the strip by now, laughing at me.
want some more
Yeah?
answers.
On what?
Can you tell me
He's
about
one of the
Benny?
chairmen, big shots that run the Tops Casino in New Vegas. A friend from the city contacted me with info on a big job. I should have known that the caps were too good to be true, but there was still no way I could pass up the chance.
Why did Benny
He's a
betray you?
snake, that's why. He owed us the rest of the pay for the job, so maybe he didn't want to pay up.
What do you know
Just
about
a
the
big
platinum
fancy
chip?
poker chip as far as I know. Don't know why anyone would make one out of platinum, though.
Let's talk about settling things between you and the NCR.
What's to negotiate? The NCR backs off, we walk out of here, nobody gets hurt.
Free the hostages now, and I'll have the NCR escort you out of their
I can't
territory.
believe I'm doing this. But alright, the hostages can go. The NCR had better keep their end of the deal, though. Here, a souvenir for you. It's Benny's lighter. Shove it up his ass when you catch up with him. Yeah, go on.
Alright. See about putting some points. Go a lockpick. Put some points on lockpick for now.
Hello.
Yeah, this was the other con at the beginning of the game. I was about to bury you when Benny shoots you. I guess Benny kills him.
I'm glad you were able to get my people freed, but there's a new problem. I just got orders to take out the Great Khans, hostages or not.
Great Khans let the hostages go in exchange for their
My
own
hands are
freedom.
tied. I can't go against orders, can I?
If you have integrity, then
You're
you'll
right.
honor the deal.
The Great Khans are free to go.
And we got fame from the Khans as well. Now our quest has updated with confront Benny at the Tops Casino. What is this? This is a new enemy we haven't discovered yet. Lake lurk. That looks like okay. I don't have too much on them.
Fancy meeting you here, friend.
Did you
Fancy
see Ben come
pants?
this way?
No, I ain't seen hide and hair of him since the tussle in Good Springs. I'm sure he ran back to the soft living of New Vegas, though. Just
How did
rolling
you get
along
here?
on my spurs. Looks like I just might make it to New Vegas after all. Yep,
See what happened in there?
guess it's just down to you and Fancy Pants. I wouldn't worry about him. He looks all hat and no cattle, if you ask me. Yeah,
It's good to see you again,
getting mighty
Victor.
embarrassing. People gonna start to talk.
Oh, Victor. Our own personal stalker. Robot stalker, that is. Like, nobody's been at the campground for a minute. Oh, what do we have here?
You're not a part of this post, as far as
Ranger?
I know.
No home.
What do you want? Ranger
do you
Station
do
Alpha
here?
used to be the frontline outpost for NCR. When we moved onto the dam, this station has fallen into more a support role. For about
So
10
you're a
years
ranger?
now. Toughest training I've ever done, and was the proudest day of my life when I got my ranger badge. Did you know that the first battle at Hoover Dam was won because of the Rangers? Legion had the numbers, but we had the skill.
Any interesting places
Have you ever
around
heard the
here?
story of the bomber that crashed into the lake before the war? Supposedly it's mostly intact, even after all that time.
What? There's a airplane that was a bomber that crashed
So
into
long.
the lake that's still intact. That could be very
Hey,
interesting.
welcome aboard.
Commanding Officer
You
Castillo.
a transfer from one of the other posts? I haven't seen you around before.
Anything going
Just
on
the
around
usual. Legion scouts try to slip across the river a couple of times a week, but they always end up floating downriver with holes in their heads.
here? That's what I like to hear.
Ranger
is this
Station
place?
Alpha. Ranger Lineholm is in command here.
On home?
I'm
Tell me
not
about
really
the
much of a
Rangers.
historian. The short version is that the Rangers are the elite of the NCR military. Best fighters in the wasteland.
Okay. Gonna call me a ranger then. Everything else is pretty much locked up. Oh. We got some battle prints right here.
Evening.
They're empty.
Nice
We-
job out there.
The ranger. Okay. get back on the road. Keep traveling onward. More of these crazy the lake lurk. God damn. We got they in the water or they across? Yeah, there they go. Too far away. Got here a magazine. Lad's life. Be about surfing around over here and killing these guys. 'Cause I think we're getting like 45 XP per kill on them. Good XP going. Oh, there's someone in the water. Oh yeah, they're gonna die. Hey, this water's good for you. Most of the time the water is irradiated. Let's get back on the road. What we got over here? Camp call.
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Not a nuclear winter. We got an infirmary here.
Wish I had a first recon guy looking after me.
Dr. Sawbones.
Hey, friend, need
Cool
something?
name. Yeah, I'm alright, buddy. Sergeant McCready.
Ah, hell. What is it now?
How do you like serving in the
Man,
Army?
it's my life. I joined up when I was 16. I don't know how to do anything else.
Joined at 16 and you're still a
Yeah,
sergeant?
well, I didn't want to get promoted out of the field. I didn't join up to drive a desk. I've
How
been
did you
here
end up
since the
at Camp
first push
Golf?
into Vegas. Back in the day, this camp was the hot spot for conflicts with the Legion, Raider tribes, you name it. These days, I spend most of my time trying to beat a little discipline into the soldiers under my command. I've gotten soft with no action.
So what do you do now that the fighting
Mostly
has
drill
died
the
down?
troops, try to keep the discipline up and combat readiness high. It's not the easiest job in the world. Soldiers without a mission get bored very easily. Still, with the Legion just across the river, we have to be ready.
That's right. Sounds like you're a little
Disappointed.
disappointed in your troops.
We call them the misfits for a reason. They're undisciplined, lazy, and they have absolutely no esprit de corps. The squad leader's got some promise, kid named Mags. But as for the rest, I don't see much hope. I'm going to make them shape up if it kills me, though. Or them, for that matter.
Maybe I can help
You're
you whip
welcome
them
to
into
try.
shape.
Hell, maybe they'll listen to somebody they don't see as an authority figure. Yeah, whatever.
This is a new quest to me. Let's see about finding out what's going on with these misfits.
Hello.
Got a bunch of troopers that are untrained.
Howdy, great to see you.
Oh. Sergeant McCready asked me to talk to you about getting
To
your
me?
squad in shape.
I'll tell you what I think this squad needs. A little more basic human niceness. That's right.
Human nice.
Folks just don't talk to other folks. And everybody's always cross with each other.
So you think I should find a way to convince the
That'd be
misfits to get
swell.
along?
Only if they knew the idea came from me, they probably wouldn't take you serious no more. So maybe you ought to think about it first. And I sure hope you're more convincing than I am, or they ain't gonna listen.
Okay, I'll try to convince them.
Okay.
Can you tell me more about your
Mostly
squad
pretty
mates?
nice. Poindexter showed me how to make fireworks. Raz kind of scares me sometimes, but I don't mind. He's had a hard life.
What do you think?
Oh, it's a
Camp
fine
Golf?
place. The lake is real pretty, and we don't get bothered much by them Legion fellers.
Tell me a little
Well,
bit more about yourself.
I was born on a farm out in California. Weren't much. Me, Ma, and Pa, my two sisters, and about 40 acres of corn and Brahmin. Didn't ever have no problems, really, except for some lean years. Then I joined up and got shipped out here to New Vegas. Well, as it turns
How'd
out,
you
we had
end
a
up in
string
the
of bad
Army?
harvests a few years back. Pa said he couldn't afford to feed but 3 youngins or we'd starve. As the biggest one, it was my job to go join the Army so's my sisters could eat and so's we wouldn't all be killed by raiders and Jesus would love us. It's all right, I guess. I don't like all the fighting we gotta do, though.
Why
I
are
ain't
you so
scared.
afraid of fighting?
I just don't like hurting folks is all. Ma always used to tell me, boy, you're the biggest and the strongest, so you mind yourself. Every day she told me that. Guess I done took it to heart. Toodaloo.
Alright.
Hello. What you want, Holmes?
Brass. Know anything
We don't
about your
talk
squad
too much,
mates?
mostly. Poindexter's a smart-ass prick. O'Hanrahan's a big pussy, ain't good for shit in a fight. And Mags? Well, Mags is cut out for something other than soldiering, you dig?
That's charming. It's good to know team building is
Shit,
alive and
maybe
well.
you're right. Guess I ought to give him a shot.
About getting the squad's readiness
Like I
before
said,
it's
you get the juice, we'll cut loose.
Okay,
My man
tell me where
Jack
to
at
get
Red
it.
Rock Canyon got the goods. But listen, once you get folks dosed on Psycho, ain't a lot of room for much else. So if you got any other plans for bulking up the Misfits crew, might want to see about them first.
On second thought, I'll
Whatever.
talk to the others first.
Ain't much
So
to
what's
tell.
your story?
Grew up out west, in the Boneyard. Heard of it? Yeah, not many people have. Wasn't really a good place for kids, you know. I joined up to get out. My family's still back there. What do you
Can you
want to
tell me
know?
about anything
Whole
about
place
Camp
used
Golf?
to be some kind of rich bastard resort back before the war. Now the Rangers use the old resort and we grunts get to live in tents. Fucking typical.
Why are
Shit,
you in
man,
the
it was
Army?
this or the Fiends. And Fiends don't last too long in the NCR. At least this way the badasses with the top shelf guns are on my side.
That's right.
Hello. Haven't seen you
Thanks.
around before, soldier.
So
yeah,
about
what
those
about
improvements.
it? I told you we need marksmanship and explosive handling improvements. Oh. Glad to see you haven't gotten yourself killed yet. Not much to tell, really. I grew up in New Reno, joined up, took my shot at being a ranger, didn't make it, so I'm stuck with this crew of jokers.
How come you didn't make it
Gee,
into
I don't
the
know.
Rangers?
Maybe because I'm saddled with the worst damn unit in the NCR Army. Think that might have something to do with it?
Sounds like you aren't too fond of
Yeah.
your squad.
I mean, no. They're okay people, but they don't care, you know? They don't have any ambition, no drive. They're slacking off, and that reflects badly on me.
Well, maybe if you tried to lead by example instead
You really
of
think
tearing
so?
them down.
Hell, I guess it's worth a shot.
How'd you end up
Easy.
assigned to
This is
Camp
where they
Golf?
send all the fuck-ups and people they don't want. But hey, it's not like I'm bitter or anything.
So why are you here?
I guess I wanted to make something of myself, you know? Be the best of the best. I wanted to be a ranger, but guess this is as close as I get.
I'm assuming you
Wait,
aren't
Dexter.
associated with the Army or the Rangers. What can I do for you?
You're in
a
charge around here?
strictly official capacity, no. However, as I am by far the most intelligent and resourceful figure on this base, I feel it's safe to say the soldiers here look up to me.
Since you're so respected, maybe you can help get this unit into shape.
You're trying to appeal to my ego. I must admit, it's an effective tactic. All right, I'll help. But only because I want to see if it's even possible.
Tell me
To
about
what
yourself.
purpose? It's highly unlikely you'd understand anything I'd say. Suffice to say, I'm a certified genius, and when I'm discharged from this pit of testosterone and failure, I'll have all the money I could ever need.
How'd a guy like
It's a
you end
simple
up here?
idea. The Army offers fiscal security and generous benefits at the cost of substantial personal risk, if you're on the front line. If you perform too poorly, they'll scrub you out. Perform too well, and you get sent to the front lines. All I have to do is ride that mediocrity gradient to a cushy, do-nothing job miles away from the war. I somehow suspect you'll be back to converse with me later.
Howdy, great to see you.
How's that human
Boy, the
niceness
squad
working
sure is
out?
working together a lot better now. I think we're gonna be A-okay. Toodaloo.
You got your squad
Well,
better.
their test scores are only marginally improved, but I'm hearing good things about the Misfits' teamwork.
Yep.
Disappointed. We call them the Misfits for a reason. The squad leaders, I'm going to make them shape up. You're welcome to try, hell.
See what's going on up here with the big dogs.
When I got this assignment, I was hoping there'd be more gambling.
Hard to believe this place used to be a luxury.
House resort. See, they got a bunch of stuff stored up in here. Kinda looks like Mr. House. I wonder what's on this terminal. Alright. Lucky 38 Executive Override. Okay, that's something we gotta probably do later on a mission.
Hey, we can monitor Ranger activity all through the region.
The Legion can count on that.
Combat armor. These all regular Rangers.
We won't go quiet. The Legion can count on that.
The boys are stocked up. Who's the leader here? NCR Ranger. Boy, about drink his life away.
Hard to believe this place used to be a luxury resort, huh?
Bunch of fixers.
Back
Chief
west,
Hang.
you don't see too many of these. Lakes, I mean. Natural or man-made. Any kind, really. We neglected the dams or pumped all the water out a long time ago. Owens, Isabella, the San Luis. Drained the aquifers of everything they had. Just a lot of mud and dust now. It's a different feeling watching the sun come up over the water. Takes some getting used to. But if you're here long enough, it starts to seem normal. That's what a ranger's life is now, looking east. You must be the courier folks have been talking about. Word on the radio is that someone wronged you back in Good Springs.
Dang.
The Mojave has a way of burning decent people up.
This boy
It
knows.
sounds like you've done right by the NCR. It's appreciated. Now what can I do for you? I
Tell
could
me
tell
about
you
the
a lot
Rangers.
if you had the time. But at my age, I'm not sure which of us would get tired first. What do you want to know?
Have any good
Suppose
stories
it
to
depends
tell?
on what you think's good. Most folks want to hear about Hoover Dam and Boulder City, but it's a long story. If you want some tall tales about hunting down slavers or busting up gangs, talk to one of the younger rangers.
There must be something good the Rangers have done that you're proud of.
It's kind of a long one, but all right. About 25 years ago, a group of NCR settlers pushed way south into Baja. I guess it doesn't seem so far now if you look at a map, but back then they were out of ways. They built this little shanty town around a well in the middle of nowhere. Called it Rattletail. Word got back to one of our stations that raiders had been attacking the place. I went out with 6 rangers. We must have been on the trail for a week before we got to Rattletail. We lost one woman to night stalkers and another almost died of dehydration. When we reached the place, it's 6 shacks set up around an old well. There's over 24 bodies lying in the dunes way outside of town, and 5 men with .308 rifles crouched behind sandbags. And these bodies, these people out in the sand, they aren't raiders, aren't even heavily armed. They're just people who were trying to get to the only well in 50 miles. I didn't have to talk to the men to see that they did not care one bit. They had planted an NCR flag over the well. They would not budge until every last one of them was laid out dead and cold. So I walked up and told them there was a group of raiders coming, 100 strong. I made up some cockamamie name for them and everything. The men looked at each other, looked at us, and asked me what we were going to do about it. I told them we would take them back into NCR territory because we'd already lost 10 rangers on the way out. 10 rangers, 5 men with .308 rifles. Well, that was enough for them. They packed up what they could and we took them back north. Last I heard, they settled somewhere in Anza Borrego. Raised bighorners. Had some tough times, but it worked out okay for them. So there you go. That's my one bit of good.
So what happened at Hoover Dam?
In big
Boulder
battles, Caesar deploys his legionaries in waves. Recruits up front, prime soldiers behind the recruits, old guard bringing up the rear. Opponents wear themselves out dealing with the first two waves, if they survive that long. When the veterans step up, there's not much fight left. Caesar can adapt, though, and when required, he can run any mix of legionaries as skirmishers and still retain order in the ranks. Joshua Graham, Caesar's old legate, he wasn't so flexible. When the Legion attacked Hoover Dam, General Oliver ordered his troopers back to the middle ground just after first contact. Graham pushed all of the legionaries onto the dam, filling the east side with recruits up front and veterans in the back, by the book. But once they were in, they were stuck there. Oliver's troopers were entrenched and wouldn't give a foot. That's when we ordered the Rangers and the 1st Recon sharpshooters to start picking off veteran Legion officers from a high ridge west of the dam. That only lasted about a minute before Graham ordered the back ranks to push through to the front and rush the ridge. Caused total chaos among the younger legionaries. Oliver's troopers fell back to the side walkways and stayed out of the veterans' way. By the time the veterans got to the ridge, we were already in Boulder City. They followed us down there, but we were out before they realized what was happening. We had packed the old city with C4 and dynamite. Crude, but it did the job. Those who didn't die in the blast were in no position to mount a defense. The ones left on the dam didn't know what to do. The troopers routed them. Graham pulled the remaining legionaries back, but the battle was over. He went south, back to the Grand Canyon, back to Caesar. And that was the last we saw or heard from Joshua Graham. Shoot. Folks around here call me the chief, but handling's just fine. The Rangers run themselves pretty well, but I try to lend a hand. Mostly administrative work, helping coordinate intel on the radio. That and keeping an eye on the fires growing across the water.
How do you coordinate
It's a
the
simple
intel?
system when it works. Patrol rangers radio intel to ranger stations. Comm rangers send the intel up the station chain until it reaches Camp Gulf. Then I or one of the other rangers on duty organize the data, evaluate it, and send information to camps or troopers in the field.
Why don't the ranger stations send the intel directly to the
Rangers
troopers?
might have an incomplete picture of the situation. There's a lot going on out there. Intel needs to be coordinated through Gulf so we can verify and advise appropriately. Troopers have enough to deal with. We don't want them questioning their intel. Shoot.
What do you know
The
about
best
Caesar?
of the best, and worst of the worst. He came out of NCR, one of the followers of the apocalypse. Like a lot of the followers, he went out in the wilderness with a partner to try to help those who needed helping. Not much different from how the Rangers used to be, except with books and medicine instead of guns. Out to the Grand
Where did he
Canyon.
go?
He met a missionary from Utah, a man by the name of Joshua Graham. Graham helped translate for the followers and the tribes. All three of them got nabbed by the Blackfoots down there, back when they were still at war with every other tribe in the Southwest.
How did a follower wind up becoming Caesar?
Somewhere along the way, he realized he needed to educate the Blackfoots or they were going to get wiped out with the rest of the tribe. Showed them how to use guns, how to make explosives. Once he taught the Blackfoots a thing or two, they needed him. And he no longer needed the followers, NCR, or anyone else. He decided he could remake the tribes of the Southwest whether they wanted it or not. He became Caesar, and Joshua Graham became his legate, his right hand. And that's where Graham stayed until Hoover Dam.
What happened to Graham
Losing
after
the
Hoover
dam
Dam?
was the worst defeat the Legion ever suffered. Graham had been with Caesar since the beginning, but he had to set an example. The Praetorians covered Graham in pitch, lit him on fire, and down into the Grand Canyon he went.
So
It's
that was
not
the
that
end of
clear
Graham?
cut. You have to understand, Graham was the toughest son of a gun anyone around these parts had ever seen. Before Hoover, we had 5 kill reports on Graham from Rangers and 1st Recon sharpshooters who tried to take him out. Some folks think he's still alive. Call him the Burned Man.
So Blackfoots are part of
Yes
the Legion.
and no. The Blackfoots don't exist anymore. Just like any other tribe that gets swallowed by the Legion. Caesar takes the tribal out of the tribe. Scrapes and burns off tattoos, breaks up families, forces mixed breeding so all the old loyalties die away. The only
Scrapes
tribe
and
in the
burns off
Legion is
tattoos?
the Legion. Caesar is their chief, father, and God, all rolled into one. Shoot. It's no
How's the
secret
NCR
we've
doing?
had better campaigns. Holding this whole length of river isn't easy. We're stretched thin and the long 15 just keeps getting longer. Slow to get supplies, slower to get reinforcements. NCR's Senate has got funds tied up at the boneyard. And President Kimball ordered our most experienced rangers to chase ghosts down at Baja.
Higher funds tied up at
Senate
the boneyard.
elections are coming up. Local representatives don't want to push any more funding to the Mojave campaign because it's unpopular. Most of the folks around the boneyard haven't been to New Vegas and probably never will. All they know is that their money gets sucked away to this desert and their brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters die here. It's
What's going on
complicated.
in Baja?
Goes way back. I told President Kimball that we need more rangers here. He accepted that, but took the most experienced ones and sent them south. Patrol rangers are good men and women, but we're about to fight a war. You've
What about
seen
the
it
troopers?
yourself. Some of them don't even have proper service rifles or armor. Our heavy infantry, power armor units, they're back in NCR territory protecting the interests of Brahmin barons against small-time raiders. Brahmin barons only have one vote at the ballot box, but they have a lot of money to throw around. Shoot.
It's the
Not
Legion
too
been
long
up to?
ago, they took Nelson and Searchlight. They got some camps on the eastern shore of the Colorado, and the monstrosity on the hill across the lake, that's for Caesar. Some folks don't believe he's here yet, but you can tell. He's the eye of the storm. It all roils and spins around him. You don't have to see the man to see the effect he has. Nelson was
Where about
barely
Nelson?
set up. We had a big stretch of unprotected land between Forlorn Hope and Searchlight, and Nelson was the solution. A deaconess named Dead Sea took the place and caused a lot of damage.
What happened to
Searchlight was worse. One of Caesar's Frumentari must have found something in there. Flooded the whole camp with radiation. Shoot.
All right, Chief.
Hello.
Broken terminal. No connection, okay. Somebody was building a motor in their room. They got it sitting on a chair. I don't think that chair would be able to hold up a motor. Not even a small block. Okay, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna steal a bunch of stuff. Alright guys, well, we're gonna end this episode off here. We discovered some NCR camps, making our way through the wasteland of the Mojave. Next episode, we might make it to the Strip. Who knows? Tune in at SickVQ on Twitch. Y'all have a good one.